All right, so this video is going to be about how to learn or get better faster. And we're going full presentation style here, all right? We're not holding back. After this presentation, you're going to be able to essentially hack yourself or hack your brain. And this is a skill that's going to take you way further than just sports. This is going to be huge in all areas of your life. And I'm going to tell you, if you learn how to do this when you're younger, when your brain is even more moldable, it becomes easier to instill habits that actually serve you. It's essentially easier to program yourself instead of being 40 or 50 and you just are stuck with all these bad habits. So what goes on in your brain when you're learning? So I want you to imagine basically a giant spider web in your brain. And we're not going to get too technical in this presentation. We could talk about neurons and synapses. If you want to get into brain science, do that on your own time. But we are going to talk about neuroplasticity. So that giant spider web in your brain. Every time you repeat something, whether that's a thought or an action or a feeling, certain strands in that web get thicker. Eventually, they become strong paths if it's wired in long enough. And that's what, like, all the habits that you have today are hardwired into you. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to reorganize itself. So when it comes to sports, mostly we are trying to wire our motor patterns, which are our ways of moving, that specific skill that you're trying to master. Your technique. We're always trying to change the way our body moves so it can become more efficient. So if you're trying to learn a new skill, at first, your brain's going to be like this, right? All disconnected, and it's going to feel uncomfortable. And you're going to have to spend a lot of mental energy focusing on fixing that thing or developing that skill. Eventually, it's going to start to become encoded within you. You can even think of our brain like a computer. It is able to be programmed and coded. And so that skill, you no longer have to think about it. It becomes second nature. And it's really important to know that you're always wiring yourself in a certain direction in all areas of your life. With every decision that you make, you are forming new habits. So just start focusing on the patterns or the habits that you want and discard or get rid of the ones that don't serve you. Do it as early as possible, I'm telling you. So that's just a basic example of how we learn. Now here's how you can hack yourself to learn faster. These are just 7 things from my experience that will speed up the learning process. And number 1 is quieting your mind or taking control of your mind. That is also known as being present more often, right? When we're present, we're not thinking, we are just existing, just being fully in the present moment, naturally, spontaneously. So how do we quiet the mind? And this is just very simple. I'm kind of just glossing over all this stuff. I'm not going into too much depth. I'm trying to give a general overview, but I've talked about a lot of this stuff in depth in previous videos, so definitely go check those out. We got to realize that all of our limitations are created in here. We create our own limitations. When we realize that, we figure out that we can just let them all go. We don't have to listen to what our mind is saying. We also have to take control of our breathing. Notice when we're feeling anxious or stressed, overthinking, worried, our breathing gets very quick and shallow. So we got to just slow our breath down, which will slow our mind down. And also when we're worried, stressed, anxious, our body gets very tense. It gets uptight, rigid. We got to notice that in the moment and consciously relax our body. Get loose. Let go of all that tension. And finally, the number 1 practice for quieting your mind is meditation. And I love to see that more and more athletes are getting into this. This is what honestly saved everything for me. It saved my love for my sport. Low key, it kind of saved my life, you could say. But moving on. Number 2, we got to increase our ability to focus, which means we got to minimize distractions. Look, I'm not going to demonize anything. I'm not going to demonize social media. I just want you to start being aware of how much information, not just information, random information that does not pertain to you at all, that does not benefit you at all. How much information are you exposing your mind to? That's why you can't focus on anything. That's why you may feel like you're being pulled 100 different directions. You quiet your mind. You increase your ability to focus. If you do that, your memory is going to get a lot better and you can learn a lot faster. Can you pay attention, full attention? Again, we're talking about being present. When you're fully present, your attention is fully in the present moment. Are you able to do that? Check yourself on that. Next thing, developing awareness. Now, when we hear self-awareness, it usually gets a bad rep, or self-consciousness. We want to be self-aware, but we don't want to be too self-aware, where we're being very critical of ourselves. The best time to be self-aware really is in the off season, when you're not going out and competing and you can spend time trying to learn new things. Or if you are not getting any playing time, you're sitting on the bench, perfect time to start breaking some habits and building some new ones. The biggest kind of self-awareness, I think, and this is why young athletes struggle the most. There is not much mind-muscle connection going on when you're younger, but I believe you can train this. Just paying attention, even when you're working out, feeling how your body moves. Is your body balanced? That's why I like to do a lot of single leg and single arm stuff when I work out, because it helps me do that. When you're trying to learn a new skill, mind-muscle connection is huge. You can also become more self-aware by watching video of yourself. That will speed up your learning so much. And so the fourth thing, set a goal and get excited about it. Something very interesting happens when we set goals. And not just any goal. We need a goal that lights our fire, that gets us up, that motivates us. So it can't be this insanely unattainable goal, or it can't be this very small, simple goal. It's got to be a goal that you know that you can attain, but it's kind of out of your reach and it makes you really go 100%. When we set a goal, it does something very interesting to our brain. And this, straight up, this is the ChatGPT explanation because I thought it killed it here. When you set a goal you're genuinely excited about, your brain starts paying attention to things that help you reach it and filters out distractions. That excitement gives your actions direction, so your choices, focus, and habits begin lining up with the goal more naturally. So setting a goal organizes your brain to do all the right things to achieve it. Very important. Number 5, and I tell my athletes this all the time. Get physical reps, definitely get physical reps. You can get reps sitting on the freaking couch, mental reps. And honestly, they're probably just as effective as physical reps. Visualizing an action activates the same brain circuits as doing the action. Each repetition in your mind strengthens the pathways for execution. You could be sitting on the couch. I like to watch the best in my sport and kind of really feel that. Feel how they move. Visualize me playing my sport and really getting into it, feeling all of it. Then also, I just be walking through the grocery store and I'm working on my passing technique. I'm working on my setting. I'm getting those motor patterns down. I'm wiring them in. There is no excuse. You can get better anywhere, but there is a balance here. And what I found is you got to stay consistent, but don't overdo it and burn out. Little consistent stimulus, stimulating those brain pathways, that spider web, over time creates massive change. And so you really don't want to obsess over this or overthink it. You don't have to spend hours on end getting reps. Just a little bit here will go a long way. Number 6, stick with it. Don't give up. This is a graph of what the learning process looks like. All right, so at first, we're very excited. We kind of fail. We think it's hard. So we improve a lot. We get excited. Oh, now I get it. I've mastered it. But then we enter what I think is called the valley of despair. This happens with any kind of learning or improving. We enter a place where we realize we don't know anything. That's the point where most people give up. But if you stick with it, Stop forcing over it or obsessing over it and just stay consistent, little consistent effort over time. It's going to make a massive impact and you eventually will reach mastery. All right. Last one, be healthy. Okay. First of all, we're going to talk about sleep. I know a lot of kids these days are staying up playing video games. Okay, cool. But getting no sleep or bad sleep is not cool. A lot of the web connections happen in your brain when you are sleeping, not when you're actually like trying to learn the skill. It clicks when you sleep. So try your best to get decent sleep. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time. And try your best. I'm not saying you have to obsess over this either, but try your best to eat nutritious, whole food. That's it. You don't have to diet crazy. You don't have to go overboard. You don't have to go completely unprocessed. Trust me, I've been there. I've done everything. Stay balanced, but really start listening. Pay attention to your body. In a way, your body speaks to you. It will tell you what it needs. So start to tune into it. All right, so that's it. This last slide here is what you are going to be when you learn how to hack your brain and learn faster. You can quite literally do anything. The possibilities are limitless. All right, so that's all I got. See you.